everyone, what's up? I was asked to make a video ranking the Predator specializations on Predator Hunting Grounds. This one is gonna be a very simple video overall. There are not that many. Now that I take a look at, there are 5, 10, 15. Really? They only made 15? Most of them I barely use it, like, except by when they actually added it. Like, I remember, like, when they added Predator specializations, it was in 2021. I made a video, I think, about every single one, or like just a class using every single one, and just, just testing how they go. And it was very clear that some of them are just like completely useless, and some of them are much better. But overall, I feel that they are still all comparing to the Fireteam specializations that came in the earlier year, like some months before the Predator ones. I think that they are just like underpowered. The Fireteam overall has better conditions on how to apply, let's say, like the ones that increases damage much easier than the ones that do that for the Predator. And there's also the broken field medic, which is just like, it's just like a complete whole issue that shouldn't exist. Well, with the Predator ones, they are like overall balanced. Even the best ones are, they like, I think that the big difference is that the fighting specializations, there's nothing that the Predator can do to remove them. Well, I'm gonna mention here, like, the best is specializations for the Predator. The fighting can just downright prevent the Predator from even using them. It can just pretty much, like, as I'm gonna be explaining here. But anyway, okay, let's start with Fervent. Fervent, I'm gonna place this in A tier. It's a good one. You get a damage buff of 10% while all the fighting players are standing. It is good to get the first kill, and people are gonna say, oh, this is the best one, because the first kill is always the most difficult kill to be able for you to get into the match, because there are 4 fighting players, and the more players, the harder it's gonna be to get a kill. Yeah, usually. However, the same damage buff that you can get from Fervent, you can get from other specializations, and that damage buff is gonna like continue even after the first down. It's not even the first kill, because you get the first down, you already lose the damage buff, so it's just like more limited. It's more damage is good. However, like, just for the first guy, I mean, it's just not enough in my opinion. Just there are better ones for damage that I would just use instead of Fervent, or maybe I should place this. Put this on B. I don't know. Let's go easy. I'm already like going ahead and thinking about the next ones. Tactician. Probably B. I would say, yeah, probably B, because it's more situational than Fervent. I think that overall you're gonna have to the Tactician increases the damage that you do to fireteam players. Oh wait, yeah, I think I made a mistake here. Fervent increases by 15%, which I think it's all the damage ones, the ulting ones that increase damage. They increase the damage by 15%. Fervent, Tactician, I mean, the ranged ones, Stalker, Analytic, Ghost, and Wrathful are 30. Assassin is 20. Brute and Warrior, okay, those don't do that. Analytic is 15, so yeah, my mistake there at the start. Fervent is 15%. But even then, like, the same other ones, like Analytic and Stalker, are also gonna increase by 15%. And you can skip that buff from, like, it won't go away after the first down. Tactician is going to increase by 15%, but it's going to be against fireteam players that are netted, trapped, interacting, reviving someone. So it's more situational. It can be good because it's going to work regardless of how many kills you have. However, I just realize on, like, more of a specific condition. Attacking the fireteam players while they are doing a mission is good. But, like, if the fireteam insists that you're gonna do that, he's just gonna stop interacting with the mission objective and just gonna try to attack you. If they get trapped, sure, they're done. But I would say, like, if you're gonna do the thing where you get someone trapped and then you go to attack them, I would say Stalker and Analytic can also give you the same benefit. Because while someone is trapped, you're probably gonna be standing still, shooting arrows or shooting plasma. Your stamina is gonna be full, or you can take advantage of the fact that they are trapped to even scan them with an Analytic. So you might even get the buff from Analytic by scanning them while they are trapped, while damaging them. So I would say, even while they are trapped or in a situation like this, Analytic and Stalker are better than Tactician. And I would say the only situation where this can be really good is, let's say, you're using the net gun with Trapper perk, so you can get the damage buff from, like, the damage, so they are netted, they cannot escape because you're using a perk that even makes it harder. In that situation, yeah, I mean, if you're playing, let's say, Cleopatra, net gun, Trapper, and she's with Tactician, damn, in a 1v1, like, the fighting is screwed. But in more than that, nah, it's like overall, like, against 4 people, I would say it's not good. People might say, I don't know, oh, how about field medics? Because you can do damage then to them while they're reviving. Yeah, but the revive speed of field medic is just so high that is like 1 second that they can revive. If it's like normal revive, it can help more. But I could say like other ones are better. In ranged. In ranged, you get a buff to your speed and stamina when you get at low HP. I believe that it's still bugged, or I don't know, maybe they fixed it. It was bugged that once you trigger Enraged, you would keep the damage buff to speed and stamina forever, even if you heal, because it's supposed to work only when you're below, I would say, I was gonna say below half HP, but I think it's even lower. Maybe like 25% HP. I don't remember the exact number, but when you get to low HP, Enraged triggers and you get a buff to speed and stamina on the Predator. And it's supposed to like continue even after the trigger, even if you heal. However, with this bug or not, I would say still C-tier, because a buff to speed and stamina can come in hand. Maybe like the Berserker, yeah, if you're playing with the Berserker, this Specializations is pretty much mandatory, but compared to the other one, it's just not anything special. It's like, okay, it can be, I think that Wolf with Enraged is really fun because it gets super fast, and you actually feel like a Predator, like, but it's like, okay, even with the bug that I don't know if it's still bugged or not, it's still not good enough because it doesn't really help you in fighting the fight. It doesn't give you more damage, so I would say it's around here. Tracker, probably S tier, but however, I feel like that most people, for most builds, if you're gonna use Tracker, it can be very good, but depending on the kind of fighting that you're playing against, you might need more damage. You might need something to give you more damage, so maybe, I mean, but it's definitely better than Fervent. Or maybe they're in the same level. It just depends. I would say Tracker is like better. It works better if, let's say, you're gonna use the disc. I would say like Jungle Hunter with the Tracker and the Smart Disc, because with the Smart Disc, it's a weapon that you don't really need that damage buff. So specifically in that build, Tracker is amazing because you don't need much of a damage buff to all damage the fighting, specifically with the Smart Disc. And so you can just focus on having Tracker, so you can always find the fighting. I think it's a S tier specialization. It's just that depending on what the fireteam is running, if they're using, like, let's say, multiple supports, everybody's using Dutch support with thick skin, that it becomes a problem. You might need more damage, and you might need, this specialization might only be good if you're running the Smart Disc, but it still is S tier just because of how useful it can be. But it also has a big downside. I mean, technically, all the ones in S tier have a big downside, which is pretty much that it relies on you having your mask, and the mask can be destroyed with just 2 sniper shots, and so you lose the mask, you lose Tracker. However, if you use protection perk, you don't have to worry about that because your mask, you're probably not going to lose the mask unless you die. But even then, like, it's just too many variables, you know. Tracker is a S tier perk, but you have to be using protection, you have to be using the Smart Disc, you know. There's just too many variables for you to be S tier. That's the problem with this, with the ones for Pred. Like, that's, I would say, is not the case for the Fireteam. The Fireteam has like S tier, A tiers, and even the A tier Fireteam Specializations, they don't really have a downside. They're like, I would say they're like, if I was gonna rank them together, or actually, you know what, I'm gonna rank, I think I can add the Fireteam ones here, and then this is gonna actually get more interesting. If I rank all the specializations together, one moment, let's say Fireteam. Okay, I put all the specializations here, Fireteam and Predator. So yeah, I think now this is gonna be a little bit better. You guys might like this. So if I'm gonna do this, I think I might have to increase more tires. Like, okay, this is actually gonna be more fun for me, because I'm gonna be comparing like the Fireteam Specializations to the Predator ones. Let's say I pretty much like to have to put them all down there. So I would say probably everything's gonna go down. Yeah, I think this might be better. So Tracker is overall very good for the Predator. It's not among the best ones, but it's just too easy for the Fireteam to just take it away from you, you know, because they just have to destroy your mask. Vicious. I think that, oh yeah, the Fireteam player that you down, he's gonna bleed out faster, and it takes longer for the Fireteam to revive him. Unless they're using Field Medic, it's a good one overall. It's like, okay, maybe like B tier. Yeah, I would say, I like Vicious actually. I think when I mained Mr. Black, I would always use Vicious. And the build was overall okay. It was okay. But people are gonna say, oh, so is it good against Field Medic? Is a good Field Medic counter? Not really, because Field Medic is just too fast. Even with Vicious, it's not enough. So Vicious is overall like okay specialization, but I would say some specializations, what can make them good or not, or like maybe make them in a higher tier or not, might be a little bit related to which class you're using that on. Because in some classes, certain specializations can be much better than in other classes, you know. Wrathful, you get more, you get 30% more damage from your melee attacks when you get shot from behind. Too situational. I would say C tier, at least is increased damage. So maybe C tier. Ghost, the best melee specialization. You get 30% more damage from the melee attacks when you attack from cloak. So you just have to be cloaked, and when you do the melee attack, you're gonna lose the cloak, because that's how they did it in this game. And you get the damage buff. I would say B. Yeah, B tier overall. It's a good one. Warrior. I think this is the one that decreases the parry stun. I would say, unless you're playing like a 1v1 scenario, it can be helpful, but otherwise, no, it like doesn't really do much. Like against a good thing, I don't think this helps much. Assassin. Increase the damage of 20% when you hit fighting from behind. And this counts for all weapons, both melee and ranged weapons. I think it's okay, but it's a little bit too situational. It's overall good. It's just okay. It's just too situational to be on like a higher tier. I don't think I will have enough space in the B tier here. Or I might separate between B1 and B2. I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Savage. It's like okay. In certain situations where you are able to claim, without going second wind, it can be okay. But if it's against a good team and you do a quick claim, you're probably gonna lose your second wind. And when you lose second wind, you don't get the heal from Savage, I believe. Like it doesn't transfer. You're only gonna get healed by using the Savage one when you are able to get away with the quick claim without going second winds, and that might be hard. So very situational, and the Savage one is 22. You get more HP when you claim a Fireteam, and you get a lot of HP if you do a long claim. A long claim is actually give you like a lot of HP, but it's again you have to be in like a situation where like maybe it's a lone Fireteam. It's just overall not good. Stalker at A tier. Like among the best ones in the game, you get more damage while your stamina is full. Usually this is used with ranged weapons where you're standing still, because ranged weapons, unlike the melee ones, they don't cost you stamina. So it's more common while people using the plasma caster. You just stand still, charge the plasma caster from a branch, and the plasma caster is going to do more damage because of the damage buff from Stalker of 15%. However, plasma caster relies on having your mask. So in case you lose your mask, you won't be able to use Stalker very well, because I would say Stalker is overall best used with the Plasma Caster. However, it can be used with other weapons. If you're trying to shoot the bow, the pistol from the branch, or even, let's say, the Smart Disc. But the funny thing about the Smart Disc, when you throw the Smart Disc, your stamina doesn't regenerate. So, like, let's say, when you throw the Smart Disc, you just did it just after leaping. So if you just leap it, your stamina bar is not going to be full as the Predator. And because of that, you won't get the damage buff from Stalker, so you might have to jump, wait a little bit for your stamina to get full, and then you use Stalker. Then you use the Smart Disc so you can get the damage buff from Stalker. I would say Stalker is overall good. However, again, like I would say maybe A+, like not enough to be an S tier. I would say just because it doesn't, like I was gonna say because it relies on the mask like Tracker, but like not that much. It also works with other weapons, and I would say that. I mean, I think it's still like the easiest one for you to get the damage buff from, compared to the other ones. So A+, Stalker, yeah. Brute is the one I think that when you parry do more damage. It's just terrible. Brute is just really not good, not gonna make much difference. Analytic, A tier. You get the damage buff from 15% on all Fireteam players that are scanned. Scanned is when you use thermal vision and you get close to the Fireteam, and you are able to get these red symbols on top of their heads and their names in the right side of your screen. That's when you scan them. If they're not mudded, it can be done very easily. You just have to be close to them using thermal vision. And if you're looking like they're like close to you and you're just aiming in their direction, it's gonna come out easily. But if they're mudded, it can be tricky. I would say it's not analytic is just mainly here because of how hard it can be to scan all the Fireteam players when it's like a good Fireteam. If it's a good Fireteam, it's kind of tricky because they're always mudding, they're always moving. No, it's harder than it sounds like, because it's good because if you scan every single one of them, you're gonna get a permanent 15% damage buff from anything you use. You don't have to rely on stamina full body. Sometimes it can take too much work, so it takes too long to be able to scan every single player, and that's like a downside. It is a problem. Focus, you get a damage, it's a speed buff and a energy regeneration buff when you use target isolation. Completely useless. Like, and it's funny because when you're using thermal, your energy doesn't really regenerate most in, I think, most classes, unless you're using modifier reserve, or unless you're using a class with more thermal vision. So even while you're using thermal vision, you're using like for you to use target isolation, you have to use thermal vision. So like at that moment when you use Target Isolation, you don't really need energy regeneration. A speed buff like in that situation, like, and you can only use Target Isolation like I believe like once every minute. It's just like too bad. Like it just to situation only increases like things that you don't even need at that moment when you're using Target Isolation. Don't really help much. Discipline. It can be very good if you're using on a B, yeah, maybe B tire. If you're using it specifically with traps, it can be good, and also helps you to get away from the fight in case they're trying to chase you. Without the clicking, it might be a little bit harder for them to go after you for sure. Yeah. Okay, so these are all the Predator ones. Now gonna go for Fireteam. Reckless. Not that they actually fixed the Reckless bug. For those of you that might be wondering, Reckless bug is actually fixed. So without your bug, with just normal Reckless, which you get a damage buff, I think of like 15. I think it should be like around 15 when you get damage. And this works for all Fireteam weapons. I would say it's overall on B tier. A little bit situational. Yeah, you have to be damaged. But it works with all the weapons. Overall good. Like the 15% damage buff from the Fireteam, considering how high the Fireteam damage, base damage is high in this game. 15 just is overall very good. And I keep reminding that the difference is that the specializations for the Fireteam, since there are 4 Fireteam players, they can always stack on each other, so they become even better. So like let's say you use Reckless. If someone else is using Leader, you're gonna get the damage buff from Leader plus the damage buff from Reckless. Remember that you can also, like, there are classes like Assault that do more bullet damage. You can use the Parak to... I mean, Predator can also use the Parak to increase even more damage, but the Fireteam just has more. Fireteam has passives, more passives, have which they actually mention. All the Predator ones, like melee, they're not really mentioned unless you test that stuff. But, well, anyway, just for the Fireteam, you can increase the damage more. Just it stacks more. Fanatic. It's an increased damage buff of 10% and speed. Increases damage, speed and damage by 10% when you're below 50% HP. The thing is, yeah, A plus for sure. A plus. Should I put this on B? A? Okay, it can be here. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Yeah. So the thing with Fanatic is that if you heal with Surats, you can keep the buff even from healing. So it's still bugged in a way. It's not like super bugged like before, but it's still bugged because it's only supposed to work, like you're only supposed to get the damage buff and the speed buff of 10% when you're below 50% HP. However, if you just heal with Surats, you can keep the damage buff even at full HP. So it's a problem. That's why mainly it's in A+, because it's just very OP how it, like, and there are many people that, many Fireteam players that they damage themselves in purpose. They like blow themselves in a barrel, so they get below 50% HP, then they heal with the Surat so they can keep the damage buff and speed buff. So Fanatic can be very OP. Deadly. Increase the damage of 10% to all assault rifles. It's overall good. Just it's a permanent damage buff to your assault rifles. A tire, good for damage, helps, like especially with the hammerhead, very good. Unleashed. 30% more damage with explosives. Explosives are harder to apply to damage because they're projectiles in this game, so it's like rocket launcher, grenade launcher, even to normal grenades. However, we're talking about 30%. Like, this is crazy. Like, people don't realize, a lot of people usually focus on the Soul Sniper or the pistol, 10-11 pistol for the damage, but the explosives, the grenades in this game are fucking stupid. I'm gonna put this on A tier just because of how stupid the damage of the grenades get. Even also rockets or anything, like the explosive damage, base damage is already so high, and then when you put Unleashed, it's just so stupid. You just search on my channel for Unleashed and you're gonna see my builds. It's just too OP. Like, it just mainly because explosives are already OP in this game. When you put Unleashed, it gets even more OP. Duelist. Increase the damage with the pistol and also increase ammo. I think that Scout is the only class to have Duelist, right? I don't think they ever added, because they didn't add many fighting classes, but I would say probably A tier. Wait, let me put it here. Yeah, A tier. Especially because the pistol is the weapon with the highest damage per second in the game, so just giving more damage makes it even even more powerful. But it only works with the pistol. What Fanatic only works with any weapon, sniper, pistol, and it also increases speed, so that's why I'm gonna place Fanatic above it. Scavenger, you can get a damage buff of 15% to weapons that you find in weapon crates, and he can heal from ammo bags. It's like okay, but I would say there are just better ones, and depends on like which weapon you get from the weapon crate. It might not be very good, so not be worth it. I would place it overall like in C tier. Overwatch, increase the damage when you're shooting them from above the target. So let's say you're in the roof and the Predator is under you, you're gonna get a damage buff. Two situation, I would say, just not as good as the other ones. Like, it's just too specific in this situation. So I would say maybe C tier. Sniper, increase the damage of 15% to targets that are spotted. And I think that it doesn't have to be your spot. Like, if anyone, if they're, as long as they're spotted, it doesn't really matter who is spotted them, you're gonna get the damage buff of 15%, which 15 is a lot, so it's very powerful. I would say A tier for sure. Yeah, A tier. The sniper can be very OP, or maybe even, I would say, I mean, I was gonna say I can place this on A tier, A plus, but it also have to take in consideration that it depends on the class. Because it's on the recon. Like, on the recon, I would say sniper is better than let's say fanatic. But as people say, oh, but recon doesn't have fanatic. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because it depends on the, if it was in like a different class, this would be like in the same level. But since sniper is only available on the operative and on the recon, it can be like in A tier. But let's say assault sniper. If assault had sniper, because you can stack with more other stuff, then yeah, it would be A plus. It would definitely be the A plus. Or if like Dutch, if Dutch 87 had sniper, I mean, or maybe, I don't know if I should judge the perks by how good they are on their own, or like consider the class that they are on. But like, I would say like, if Dutch 87 had sniper, I would definitely pick that. I would definitely pick it over fanatic, just because I would have 15% damage right away from the start. Doesn't have to rely on damage. I would say sniper is very good. I would say, yeah, I'm gonna place this in A plus, but it's like, let's just say that it's good that the assault or Dutch, they don't have this specialization, because if they had, it would be much worse. But since it's like only on the recon and the operative, it's not that bad, you know, for the Predator. But it's definitely an A plus specialization. It's just that it's not available on like the more classes that do more damage, so it's more limited. Leader, definitely A tier, A plus. I'm gonna say A plus. Oh, here. Or even like maybe low S tier, because it gives damage to everyone for a long of time. Like, I don't know, like, okay, I'm gonna make a S, because I need to add one below. Okay, I'm gonna place leader here. Leader, just because it's increased damage to everyone. And it's bugged, because because in the description they say that leader increases damage to your teammates. But it actually works for the user, so it's increased damage for the user and all your teammates. So it's like for the whole fireteam, all the four fireteam players are gonna get the damage buff from leader. I would say the only weakness is that it doesn't stack, so if you have more than 2 leaders, it's not gonna increase more. But it's just so powerful that I would say, yeah, probably having a leader is gonna benefit the fireteam as a whole more than fanatic and sniper. But like, as long as you have one, it's just like how it makes the whole fireteam stronger. And I think that like after the Pred gets damage, is the damage buff of it's gonna be 15%, so it increases more damage than fanatic deadly. And it's gonna last for like 3 seconds against the Predator for everybody in the fireteam. So leader is a big problem. Leader is very OP. Overseer, you heal when you do mission objectives, like you get healings of 10 HP. It's like, okay, I think it's a fun one to use. I would use this on Dutch 2025. I think it's overall okay. Like not as good as like Reckless, because it doesn't do damage, but it's overall useful one. I think it's like okay one to use. Rushdown. I think this is the one where you get a speed buff when you kill AI. You realize you don't kill AI, and like it just like doesn't really help you against the Predator, so that's why I'm gonna place it on D tier. It's like whatever. It's like can help you kill AI. I mean, right now AI is very annoying in the game for sure. And I think this is the one that you get the damage speed buff, or maybe there's other buffs, but it's related to just killing AI. And I mean, in the, like maybe among in the camps when you're doing the mission, can be good, but I would say like comparing to the other ones is not as useful. Field Medic, the most overpowered specialization on this game. Definitely the only one that needs to be on the S plus for sure. Like there's no comparison. Like being able to revive your teammates that fast completely breaks the game. Like it just prevents the Predator from finishing them where they are down with ranged weapons, let's say, or like, I mean, unless the Predator is very close to the fighting, he won't be able to quick claim right away. Field Medic is just too OP. It also revives when the fighting player gets revived. He gets revived with more HP. It's like very OP. Just like there is no comparison. Field Medic has always been, ever since the specializations were added, the most overpowered specialization on this game. Like no downsides, no weakness. You can even use Destros to make the revive even faster. It's like forces the Predator to use quick claim if he wants to get a kill. It's just completely OP. Everybody knows my opinion on this specialization. Comms. It's you can reinforce faster. I would say maybe C. Like, I think that it can depends a little bit on the situation. I would say, like, if you just lost 1 kill, you might not want to reinforce right away. You might want to wait a little bit before reinforce. It doesn't really matter that you can do it sooner, because you're gonna wait until you lose more fighting players to be able to counter reinforcements. But it can be useful for you to know right away where the radio is. It can be, but it depends also on who the predator play against is. I would say it's just situation. Sometimes it can help, sometimes it doesn't make any difference at all, and the result's gonna be the same regardless. But yeah, overall, like, C tier. Amphibious. Amphibious I would place it even on B, especially because Dutch 87 has it, so I'm gonna place it on B. Because you just jump on the water, you get instantly mudded, which in Dutch 87 you instantly get the damage resistance, and so Predator won't be able to find you. Don't have to worry about having to mud up. Well, let's say you're like the last guy. You're the last player. Everybody got killed. The Predator is trying to look for you. He wants to kill you. He just used isolation, but you just jump on the water. You're instantly mudded. You can instantly hide from the Predator. He won't be able to find you unless he has tracker. But what I'm trying to say is that in other situations, this can save your life, because Predator who just used isolation, if you're not mudded, he would find you right away, because it takes you like a few seconds for you to be able to mud up. With Amphibious, just instantaneous, so those little seconds which you can just be instantly mudded, which we don't have to waste those little seconds mudding up, can save your safety match sometimes. And it's just useful because when you mud up, you get yourself vulnerable for the Predator to attack in case he spots you, and you don't have to worry about that one Amphibious. But it's just not as good as the damage ones. Liberator, you get I think, oh yeah, when you take an alarm, you get a buff from, was it damage? I don't remember if it's damage or speed, but it just relies. It's related to just the situation of disabling alarms, which, like, too situational. Like, I would say it's better to just shoot the alarms with your guns from far instead of just going there and interacting, which I think this only counts if you interact with them and just disable them manually, So, too situational, and when you're disabling the alarms, it's usually going to be at the start of the mission before you see the Predator. It doesn't last very long. So, Hushdown and Liberator, it is more about fighting AI, and that's not the focus on the game. Like, it's better the ones that you can, specializations that are going to help you against the Predator. So, that's it. Spotter, probably B. Or maybe A, because yeah, maybe an A tier, just because of how hard, if it's a slow Predator, and because tracker is a thing. Not the Predator tracker, the Fireteam tracker is a thing. So when you use together with tracker, and they can be spotted for 9 seconds, and let's say Mr. Black, he moves so slow because his spotter makes the target that is spotted move slower. I don't remember like the exact amount of speed how much speed it decreased, but it moves them slower. And if you crouch, you're gonna be harder to spot in thermal vision. So it has 2 buffs, the spotter, and mainly because of how broken it can be on slow predators, and because of tracker, I'm gonna place this on A tier. So this is my overall specialization list for including both fighting and predator specializations on Predator Hunting Grounds, guys. If you guys have any questions, just drop in the comment section.